Hey guys, Adam Fenig here with Fenig Equipment. You're tuned into the Talking Shed. Today, we're going to go over this J&M 6026 liquid fertilizer applicator. We're going to talk about the ins and outs, how the red balls work and how the sections are set up, all the way from the pump to the fill and the parallel linkage coulters that we're using. So this particular one is using a John Deere rate controller. So we've got our ISO plug here, our foot pedal plug, and all that's going to be run through customer's John Deere 2630. If we come over here, let's check out the hydraulics. We have got 4 sets of hydraulics on this. We've got the big hoses are your pump, and the rest of them are your folds. So of course we've got safety chains hooked up on this one. These are the heavy duty safety chains like what you would find on the grain carts, and we think these are awfully important, so they're definitely included in every one that we sell. So on these, we've got 5 sections on the 23 row units. We've got our lefts and our rights up top, and then center, and then the sub frames out here. Centered in the unit is a PSI gauge. That's pretty handy. And then also, of course, the gauge for your tank. Now, on a lot of rate controllers, your rate controller will take care of that for you, but it's handy to be seen right there. So this valve right here is your down pressure control valve for your wings, and then it is shown right here. So if you feel like your coulters aren't quite going in the ground, you can increase or decrease this valve to adjust the down pressure, and then you'll run that green one in constant. So it's got the zip tie on it there, meaning that's the green hydraulic. If you come over here, Cody, you'll have to really zoom in on that. That is a basically a map of your hydraulics and how you're going to fold this unit. It really clearly shows you how to operate it, and I'm a big fan of that because whenever you get into several hydraulic units, sometimes the hardest part can be learning how to fold it. So we've got our check valves right here, and what your check valve does is when you lift up on the end and you lose pressure, this locks. So you're only going to lose your fertilizer from here down, and it holds the fertilizer back right here. So we typically have a 10 psi cap, so it requires 10 psi coming from the tank to open this up. Now underneath here, we have got our orifice. So the customer told us his rate and his speed, and we put in the proper orifice to match that. So the way this thing folds, you've got these sub wings right here that fold up. So this is basically its own little toolbar, and then you've got the big toolbar that comes around. So before we head to the back though, I want to talk about the pump. This is a huge 8 wet seal pump. So this is one that you can run dry and you won't hurt the pump. It's got plenty of capacity to do whatever you're going to do with a 60-foot toolbar, and it's located right here. You can control your agitation valve, and then you've got a filter located right here. From there, we're going to move towards the back of this machine, and this is a walking tandem dual system. This came from their grain carts, so as you're going through the field, it's the only applicator with duals and a walking tandem. So it's pretty handy, and it makes the flotation of this carrying capacity really nice, because if you want to carry 2,600 gallon, you're going to need some floats under there. If you look in here, we've got your whisker switch. Cody, zoom in there real close. There's your whisker switch. So when you raise and lower this toolbar on the ends, it's automatically going to turn the rate controller on and off for you. So the only thing you have to worry about is letting this thing down, and you can apply. It's automatically going to turn on and off. So you can see the narrow transport comes from swinging this toolbar back and then folding over. These 60-foot bars, it's amazing to me how they can fold at under 12 feet. That's narrower than what their 40-footers fold. You can see back here, we've got our 3-inch fill. That's handy to get this big 2,600 gallon tank, which is lettered real nicely here. It's really crucial to get that thing filled fast. And then we're going to talk about our coulters. I feel this is the most important part of the applicator, is getting that fertilizer down into the soil, because the goal here is, sure, we want to get it done fast, but we want to get it done right too. And that comes with putting the fertilizer in the soil if you're going to be this far from the row. Now, we sell our triple threat system and there's the Y drops, but those are designed to go at the base of the plant so they can get by with putting it on top. But when we're going to be 15 inches from the row, we want to make sure we're going in the ground. And these parallel linkage coulters guarantee that. So if you are coming up to a hard spot, this knife isn't going to rear up out of the ground. I know a lot of you guys have seen that on your Blue Jets and your Fasts and different single arm coulters, but that won't happen on the other parallel linkage. We make this hose holder here. It's designed just to keep this hose from drooping down and getting into your blade and getting cut. And then this particular one, if you come back here, Cody, shoot in from right here, this one has got the Yetter Innkeepers on it. And this has become very important, especially this year, to save fertilizer. What this does is we can adjust the angle at which this thing runs, and we can adjust our down pressure right here with this spring, but the goal is to seal off the fertilizer and close it up with this arm that comes back here. When you're putting down expensive fertilizer, nutrients for your crop, you're gonna want to make sure it gets locked in there and is able to be utilized by the plant very effectively. Well, that's where this Innkeeper comes in and can really help us lock that stuff in. You've seen that slit that's made when you're harvesting corn. It just opens up throughout the year and a lot of that fertilizer gets lost. So the Innkeeper keeps that in place. If you look from behind, we've got LED safety lights over here. Real easy to see as you're going down the road and still narrow transport. So we really like the J&M 2600 gallon capacities on the 6026s, and it's an awesome applicator. You can go from 60 foot and fold up to 40. So if you actually plant with a 40-foot planter, you can do your end rows on 40s and then fold out to 60s on your long rows and get a lot of acres done in a day. So that's what we're doing today, talking about the J&M 6026 applicator, and give Fennig Equipment a call to order yours. Thanks for tuning in.